If I let go of the steering wheel, you see, it doesn't really correct itself, it starts going over there. So we've got more questions to answer from TikTok. Let's get into it. So somebody asked, if you've turned, when you're straightening up again, can you let go of the steering wheel? So you don't want to let go of it fully, but you can have your fingers around it and let go of it slightly and let it correct itself. So I'll show you what I mean. So when I turn into this road here, I'm going to turn in, and then once I want to go straight again, I can let go of the steering wheel slightly, and then it goes back to the center again. You don't want to let go of it fully, but just enough for it to correct itself and go back to the middle. You need to be going at a good pace to do that. If you're going too slowly into a turn, it's not going to correct itself, and I'll show you what I mean. So if I was to turn into this road here and I went really slowly, it's not going to correct itself. I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to go slowly because there's cars in the way as well. So if I go into this turn, if I let go of the steering wheel, you see, it doesn't really correct itself. It starts going over there because I'm going really slowly. So if you're going faster, then it will work. But if you're going too slow, it's not going to work. Somebody asked, how do you know when to gear down? So when it comes to gearing up, it's nice and simple. Let me show you that one first. So let's say I'm in second gear now, and you see the revs are like 2,500, and you've also got the arrow telling you to gear up now. That's an easy way to tell when to gear up, and it's making quite a lot of noise as well. So I'll go into third. But when it comes to gearing down now, you can use the revs as well, and you also listen to the engine. But if you look at the revs and it goes to 1,000 RPM, so I'll show you what I mean. So if I slow down now in third, when it gets to 1,000 revs, just like there, it starts to rumble. So then I can gear it down. So in second gear, now it's going nicely in second gear. If I slow down even more in second gear, if I keep it down the revs as well, but I want to look to the right, make sure it's clear on the roundabout. So the revs just remained above 1,000, which was fine. But let's say I want to turn into this road here, and I slow down a lot, and if I see the revs, they're going to go to like 1,000, and then below that it's going to start to rumble, then I can gear down. So you're looking at the revs. So once they get to about 1,000, if you're going to carry on going at the same speed or going faster, you can leave it at that gear. But if you know you're going to go slower, then you should gear down because the revs are going to get lower and lower. And somebody asked, do you set the gas while the clutch is at the biting point? And this is talking about when you're moving off. When you're moving off, it's a good idea to use the gas as well as the clutch, because if you just use the clutch only all the time, it's not a good habit to get into, because especially if you want to go faster, I'll show you what happens if I just use the clutch. So just the clutch by itself, you see, it doesn't really go that fast. But if I get used to, and it's a bit jerky as well, but if I use the gas and the clutch together, I'll show you what I mean. So gas and the clutch together, that way it's smoother and I can go quicker as well. So to answer the question, should you set the gas with the clutch as well? The answer is yes. As you're moving off, you're going to go to the gas as you're bringing the clutch up to the biting point. So my foot is on the gas now, and then as I raise the clutch higher, the gas takes over now. So now it's fully on the gas, and then once I get to this speed, off the gas fully and change into second. Even on this kind of junction here, I can get the biting point and add gas as I'm doing this and keep the clutch still, so that I've got the gas on right now, and then the gas takes over as I bring the clutch up even more. So right now I'm on a very, very steep hill. I'll show you how steep it is. So as soon as I come off the brake, the car rolls back straight away. So let's say you're trying to move off now. What a lot of learners will do is they will try to move off, and then they'll feel the car roll back a tiny bit, and then when they feel that, they'll panic, and then they'll bring the clutch up way too high, and then the car will stall. And from then, this should be nice and simple to fix. But what they'll do is then they'll try again, and then they'll bring up the clutch again, you know, bring the clutch higher and higher, basically in a panic. This is the wrong thing to do. I'm going to show you what to do if the car does roll back in the first place. So let's say you're trying to move off, and then you feel the car rolling back a bit. Instead of panicking and bringing the clutch up super high, what you need to do is just bring the clutch a bit to the biting point and hold it there. That way you catch the car from rolling back. This takes a bit of practice, so you might want to go somewhere quiet like this kind of road where it's hilly, and then just practice rolling back and then bringing the clutch to the biting point and holding it still, and then rolling forward and then going forward. So going back a bit and then catching it with your foot with the biting point, yeah, catching it like that, so that way you don't roll back. Yeah, if you stall on the hill, the worst thing you can do is panic and make it worse. What you should do is try to relax and sort out the problem. I'll show you what I mean. So instead of stalling and then panicking and then, you know, not taking your time and then stalling again, what you should do is, I'm going to stall on purpose and show you what you should do. So let's say you stall, just press the brake straight away, clutch down. If your car's got a stop start, it's going to restart again, and then you're going to know that because you hear the engine starting, and then you also see the rev counter go around 1000. If it doesn't do that, just stay calm, just do the same steps. So brake first, clutch down all the way, and then turn the key until you hear the engine turn. So some people will be playing around the key loads off and on before the car's even started again. Turn it all the way off and then turn it on again until you hear the engine turn. And then once you've done that, check your surroundings and then drive on again nicely. So let me show you that step by step in real time without me explaining too much. So let's imagine you've stalled. I'll go straight onto the brake, clutch down, see it's not starting. So I'll turn it off again and then back on, go into gear, look around. I might even use my handbrake now because I messed up the last one. So get the biting point and then handbrake down and move off that way. So that's how it's done, without panicking, without stressing. Somebody asked, how do you move off on a hill if your handbrake's not working? Firstly, if your handbrake's not working, you really shouldn't be driving that car. Take it somewhere to get it fixed. But let's imagine now you just don't want to use the handbrake for some reason. I'm going to show you how to do that without using the handbrake. So if you're on a hill and you don't want to use the handbrake for whatever reason, maybe you want to impress your friends, you can just use the foot brake and the clutch. I'll show you what I mean. So right now we're on a steep hill here and I've got my brake on, which is holding the car from rolling back, because if I let go, you see, it rolls back straight away. So what I'll need to do to stop rolling back when I move off now is bring the clutch to the biting point, and I'll know I'm at the biting point. I can hear the engine rumbling, and you see the rev counter there is going a bit higher. As I bring the clutch up, that goes a bit higher, which means it's getting a bit of power from the engine now. Yeah, so once it's there and I can feel the car rumbling, that's how I know I've got enough power to stop rolling back. Once it's safe to move off, I can just come off the brake and then add a bit of gas as well, and then smoothly bring the clutch up, and that's how you move. If you're already in traffic, let's say, you can do it without even using the brake as well. So let's say I've stopped here and traffic's moving kind of slow. I can just hold the clutch at the biting point like that. If I bring it too low, it's going to go back down. If I bring it up too high, it's going to start moving. Once you practice a lot, you can get to a stage where you can just balance the clutch at the right point, where you're not going back or forward. It's just going to keep it still. This is putting quite a lot of strain on the clutch though, so you don't want to do this for too long, especially on a really steep hill. And then once it's safe, you can come off the clutch a bit more and then drive on. Somebody asked if you can gear down from 5th gear, which I'm in right now, straight into 1st gear. So I'm slowing down right now. Now once I get to about 35 miles an hour or so, I'm going to reduce my gear. So right now I'm about 40 miles an hour. When I get to 35, I can get my clutch down, go into 3rd, and then engage that gear. Keep slowing down some more. And then once I get to this stage, I can get 2nd gear, slow it down some more, bring the clutch up, and brake in some more. Then once I get to really slow speeds, I'm stopping, put my clutch down, and then I can get into 1st gear. So that was quite a lot of work. I would only do that if traffic was slowing down gradually, but if I'm coming to a full stop, I can skip all those gears and go straight from 5 to 1, and I'll show you what I mean. So this time, instead of going through all the different gears, I'm just going to do one gear change. I'm going to go straight from 5 to 1, and I'll show you how to do that now. So once I know that I'm coming up to a stop, I can see the lights are red up there, and I'm turning right as well. So I'll let people know I'm turning right. I can start braking gently. I'm leaving it in 5th until I get really close to the stop. So still in 5th gear, but you need to know what gear you're in, because right now I could go into 2nd if these lights stay green, but they're going to red, see? So I can just put my clutch down and go into 1st gear. So there's no need to go through all the different gears. Remember, you can do that if you want to, but it's a lot more work and it's unnecessary. Unless you're doing it because traffic is slowing down gradually, there's no need to do it that way. So last time I showed you how to get from 5th gear to 1st gear straight away. Now I'm going to show you that sometimes you can actually choose from 5th to 2nd, depending on what you're trying to do. So you can choose any gear you want depending on what you're trying to do, depending on the speed that you want to achieve. So I'm going to be turning left soon, and to do that I want to do it in 2nd gear. So right now I'm in 5th, and I can do that turn in 2nd gear. So I'm going to check my mirrors and signal, and I'm leaving it in 5th. I'm not bothering going 4th and then 3rd. I'm leaving it in 5th, and then when I get to here, I can slow down quite a lot more, get into 2nd gear, bring the clutch up, and then make my turn. That way it's nice and smooth. There's no rumbling, the car wasn't struggling, and the turn was nice.